Sounds
Hi,
good.
Tracy. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Viviana.
Hello, everyone. Viviana is our newest intern.
Oh,
Started
nice.
a few
Hi.
weeks ago. Hey,
Hello.
and then Jeff,
Viviana, you're at San Diego State, right?
No, USD.
Okay, I apologize.
Yes. Okay.
we have another intern, Adela, and from USD. She's actually joining right now too. I love it. Hi, Tracy.
Hi,
Yeah,
Adela.
she just typed in the chat. Yes, feel free to type in the chat.
Yay.
Hey, thanks for joining.
Jeff, I want to give you a shout right now. And if I could, I would give you an extra big hug of gratitude. And I'm just so incredibly proud of you and how you and Garrett did the panel. I was honestly, I never say this, but it exceeded my imagination and expectations. Like I felt like it went so good. We're talking about the Global Neurodiversity Conference we just did,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Jeff co-moderated a panel, and with my son Garrett, and it was the Neurodiversity Heroes, and it was so well done. Thank you, Jeff. I don't know if you want to say anything about it. I just wanted to tell you you did a fantastic job.
Well, I mean, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure helping out in any way I possibly can. So now's the time we, build off of the conference and get ready to head on into 2024. So
Yeah, and Lindsey, Jeff has been helping us build this Lunch and Learn platform the entire time. He's here from Massachusetts every week, pretty much, and he is a self-advocate and helps families, I think, absolutely understand their loved one with autism, and he's an autism advocate himself, and I feel like has moved mountains for people understanding autism because Jeff has autism, and I think that is really, really important. Um, as an executive director, I like to see people that have autism involved in every single thing we do. And so if you come to anything we do, you're always going to see people with autism involved. Otherwise, there's a lot of organizations that I don't feel I see that as upfront enough. And it's not something that Rebecca and I even try to do. It's just, it has been how we've built the foundation. So I really want to make sure, is anyone else on here that we want to give a shout out about something that's going on? Rebecca, I don't want to miss something. I wanted to make sure I included thanking Jeff because we just came off doing that. And we're still trying to catch our breath.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sorry I missed it.
Luckily,
Well,
we recorded it, Lindsay.
yeah,
Oh,
It's going
good.
to be coming out. Yeah, it's on UCTV platform.
mhm.
Okay. What
Yeah.
is UCTV? Oh, is it just, it's the UC version of, is it like a YouTube channel, but with UC?
So University of
Yes.
California Television is
Oh,
what it
cool.
stands for. Yeah. They have over a million users on their platform, subscribers, YouTube subscribers, and obviously they also broadcast to the UCTV channel. So they live broadcast our conference, and then they also are releasing it on YouTube on the UCTV channel, and it'll also be on our Autism Tree channel. And we're really excited. They just released the schedule, and so all of the videos, each session will be coming out in December and in early January. So they're coming up, and the first one actually is going to be our keynote speakers talk will be released on the 17th, which is this Friday. So I'm excited.
Wow.
Yeah, we reached over 170,000 people across 16 different countries for our past two conferences that we've done, that we've recorded.
Oh my gosh.
We'll just build on those numbers. Really exciting.
That is really great.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I have a quick intro, a couple Zoom rules for those of you who may be new or need a refresher because we've been on a break. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we love to see all your smiling faces. And please type all comments and questions into the chat. I just added Otto. Yay. Hi, Otto.
Hi, Adam.
I love it. A quick update from Autism Tree. So we have added 598 brand new families to the Autism Tree family since January 1st of 2003 this year. That is a huge new record for us. These are families who filled out an intake form for our programs, wanting to be a part of our community. So welcome to all of our new families. All of last year we did 556 new families. So this year we are way past that already. So it's a milestone record for us. We offer 20 programs, 9 are in person, 7 are hybrid, and 4 are virtual, one of those being our virtual book club. So a lot of things to get involved in. We have 9 upcoming events between now and the end of November, but we always add more events to our calendar. So feel free to check back to our social media for announcements. Events this week, we have our NCL Adaptive Art Workshop. We partner with the National Charity League and their girl mentors to our families. We pair them one-on-one and they do fun arts and crafts. We have our Project Sunshine Teleplay Workshop, which is an online games that we play. They're going to be doing Marvel Disney themed games this weekend, which is so fun. We also have adaptive dance class, which happens every week. It'll be for our teens, ages 13 to 24, we also serve young adults through that program. We have that every week. That's happening this Saturday at Tap Fever Studios, our community partner. We have our musical play group also in the afternoon on Saturday, which we partner with the Music Therapy Center of California to do music therapy for our kids. That's for early intervention, ages 0 to 5. And then we have our Fit and Fun workshop, which is great for all ages, which is happening this Sunday at 10 a.m. at Savita Park. So that's so much fun. They have like a trampoline and they do tug of war, and they have the big rope, and they do hopscotch and lots of fun activities to keep the kids fit. So if you want to sign up for any of those events, please contact me or our team, and we'll sign you up, or you can sign up online on our website. We have 564 videos on our YouTube channel, and we release these new videos every single week, including these lunch and learns. So we have a whole playlist to our lunch and learns. We have 136 lunch and learns uploaded on our playlist as of today. Today will be our 137th lunch and learn, and we want to give a huge shout out to and thank you to Lindsey Salatka for being here. She's an author and also the director of the KidsWrite Children's Writing Contest. And so we're very excited to welcome her and learn from her today. So thank you, Lindsey. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off over to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is incredible. I'm so honored to be here. And I just think you guys are doing amazing work. I love hearing about all these workshops and things coming, and I'm thrilled that you have, like, your membership keeps growing by that huge number. That's amazing. So obviously you're doing a great job getting the word out, and I think it's such an important community, and it's I'm just really proud to be here. So thanks for having me. I'm an author, and I'll go into that a little bit, but I'll just start with a little bit of my story, and then we can go into Q&A and everything. But just so you all know, I am an author now, but I wasn't born that way. Mm-hmm. I started writing as a latchkey kid, which means my parents were divorced. I lived with my mom. My mom was a full-time teacher, so I let myself in after school, and I had a lot of time on my hands. And so I started writing. I had a lot of cousins and friends who agreed to be my pen pals. So writing to them was my first foray into the world of writing. Mm-hmm. And I remember kind of the beginning of my letters were always started with, "Hi, how are you? I am fine. So even though they couldn't respond to say how they were, I was telling them how I was. This was just like back in the day, the best way for me to open a letter. So hopefully I've gotten better. But anyway, I was really hooked on writing to my pen pals. I'm naturally quite shy, and I especially was shy as a child. So writing was really my chance to communicate the words I would have otherwise kept to myself. I won a poetry contest in first grade, which was maybe the first time in my life I thought I might be good at something. And when you realize you might be good at something, it is a very expansive moment. It's the moment you grow from being a who on a dust speck, like in Horton Hears a Who, to a fully realized human who has something worthwhile to share and a way to share it. I think if you were to meet any writer and ask them what was their expansive moment, or that moment that they realized they might be good at something, and especially writing, they will recall the moment that it dawned on them. And often it will be winning some sort of writing contest, like me. I've heard it countless times. I really would have thought that that was not a common experience, but because I have heard it so many times, I realized the importance of having these contests and making sure they're available to everybody. So I will circle back to that, to that. So because of my expansive moment, I studied creative writing in college, and I went on to publish my book, which is a novel. It's called Fish Heads and Duckskin. It is very loosely based on my life as an expat in Shanghai. So I thought I would just take a moment to tell you, thank you, Otto, to tell you how that story came to be. I moved to Shanghai in 2004 with my husband and our oldest daughter. At the time, she was 3, and she's now 21. So this was 18 years ago. We lived there for 5 years, and we had 2 more children while we lived there. Before we lived in China, we actually lived in Bali for 2 years. So we moved overseas when our daughter was 18 months. And then we moved to Shanghai. But the book does not include any of the Bali part. So that's part of what makes it a novel, but a lot of things make it a novel. But I'd always, since my earlier days, writing, "Hi, how are you? I'm fine." I had enjoyed writing, and I had so much to write about just looking around me in these experiences overseas. I started writing down my observations because I knew I had new eyes. So when I was talking to expats that had been there for longer than me, and I would bring up something like, the fights in the street, because there's a lot of fighting. There are no guns or anything, so it's not like necessarily dangerous, but it's just sort of, there was a lot of aggression, I guess you could say, around me. And I was like, wow, what is that? And people wouldn't even really notice it anymore. They would kind of just like step around it. And I was like, it was very alarming to me, and also like a little bit scary. And you get used to it. And so I knew that I knew I could tell that I was going to start getting used to things. And so I just wanted to make sure that I was able to, keep some of these fresh memories. So that's when I started writing in Shanghai. So I wrote several stories about our family that and I started writing for the magazine there, the expat magazine called Shanghai Family Magazine. And so when I'd been writing for them for a while, we went to dinner one night at a place with a balcony. And I remember looking down and seeing a group of young men fighting, like I mentioned earlier. And they were maybe just playing around. I couldn't really tell. And we couldn't tell, if it was serious or what, but I just thought, I knew I had to create a story, not only, of this time and these observations, but I wanted it to be a screenplay, because I thought there's no better way to like show what this looks like than to be putting this on a screen somewhere. So I started writing my book as a screenplay. And at the time I was actually pregnant with my 3rd daughter. so I didn't know how to write a screenplay. I didn't know how to write anything longer than a magazine article or a short story. So but I thought it was worth telling and I really wanted to tell it. So I started writing the screenplay. I went to a writers conference in Bali. You know, we'd spent a couple of years there, so I knew they had this amazing conference. So I flew over and I made an appointment with an editor and I shared my screenplay idea with her, and she told me in a kind and constructive way that I had a lot to do to make it something that could be shared with the world. So I still worked on it, but I did end up putting it aside for a while because I had, you know, a young family and I was a Girl Scout troop leader, and I started yes, I started a jewelry company when I was there. There was just a lot that I was doing. So the book got shelved and the screenplay was shelved. And then in 2009, when we moved back to the US, soon after we got here, my mom passed away. And when you lose your primary parent, or at least when I did, I really felt my own mortality. And I knew that I wanted to leave something for my kids, a memory of their time in Shanghai, which had been so magical. And only our oldest would have remembered it because we moved back when she was 9 and then 3. So they were 9, 3, and 1. So my middle child, my youngest child, would not remember anything, but my oldest child would remember it. But just, you know, how you remember things when you're 9, which is, you know, maybe not that clearly, depending on, you know, the strength of your memory. Mine is not so strong. So anyway, so because of that, I pulled my pile of stories back out again. And the act of producing something and working on a book was very healing to me. I wanted to write the story for my kids while working through my grief and end up in a better place, not as good a place as I'd been when my mom was alive, but significantly better than the place I was as I dealt with her loss. And I think that creating something, whether it's a book or a story or a piece of art or a dance, like you mentioned earlier, a tree house, a garden, it's such a healthy way to expend energy and move our society in the right direction while also providing tremendous self-healing. So my book is called Fish Heads and Duck Skin. And it was called that because my oldest daughter in real life told me when she was about 4 that they were her favorite foods. And she was very serious. I was impressed by her openness and how easy it was for her to accept and embrace new things. So the name stuck. I thought my publisher would actually make me change the name because sometimes people think it's a cookbook, or, you know, they don't understand what the significance of that is. So anyway, but I got to keep it. So before the book, so the book came out in 2021, and in 2014, I started blogging. I was kind of trying to enter the writing space as like a, you know, as a writer and somebody that shares in the world in that way. And I was very scared to begin. But I was surprised to find that blogging was an amazing way for me to connect with people. So I kind of went away from it for a little bit, because I was trying, you know, I kind of cycled into social media more, and now I'm sort of cycling back into the blogging space with a Substack. And that's how I'm sharing some of the different programs that I'm involved with, including KidsWrite. So I'll share all that with you guys later. But so in addition to the book and the Substack, I've been published in other magazines and anthologies, and one of which is coming out next month. It's the 5th volume of Shaking the Tree. My work's been performed on stage, and I've ghostwritten and edited several books for other people, including an award-winning story told by a woman who grew up in Kandahar, Afghanistan during the reign of the Taliban. So it just is, I've just realized how much I love helping other people bring their stories to the world too. So like I mentioned, writing is a great journey and healing part of my life, but I also love watching other people create and share. especially starting from a place where it feels a little scary, but then you can really watch yourself grow into the experience of sharing through writing. So I was asked to join the board of the Friends of the San Diego Central Library, and now I'm the co-coordinator of the Author of the Month program there. So that's one of the ways that I'm helping to raise the voice of local authors. And I'm also on the advisory board of the San Diego Writers Festival, which is how I learned about the KidsWrite Children's Writing Contest. So now I'll tell you what that is, and hopefully we can get some of you guys to submit. So 6 years ago, the creator of the contest is Jen Laffler. 6 years ago, Jen Laffler and I were in the same writing group, and she had an idea to start a children's writing contest. And so she partnered with the San Diego Writers Festival to bring it to life. So the contest is open to any child from kindergarten through 12th grade. There are 3 categories: poetry, short story, and graphic story. And it is free to submit. It's only open to San Diego County residents at this point, but it's a great thing. I started out as a judge for the contest. I was helping Jen. And I kind of learned the backside of, it was really, I think, the first time I've judged anything. I've only been judged. So it was kind of fun to be on the other side. So Jen started the contest, and then she ran it for 3 years. And when she decided to step down, I couldn't bear the idea of KidsWrite going away, because as I've said, I see tremendous value in recognizing the creative work of children because of the importance that recognition made in my life. So I agreed to take over for a 3-year position as the volunteer director of KidsWrite. And we're now entering that 3rd and final season of my tenure. So the submissions will be opening soon for that. In the 2nd year of our contest, we identified a true talent in the world of poetry who is with us today. At the time, we didn't know anything about Otto Lana because the submissions to our contest are blind, which means that the judges don't see the names or any information about the writer who submits. We see their year in school. We see the short bio that they submit that just, says like what you enjoy doing. And then we see their submission, and that's it. So we actually at the time had a category for special submissions, but Otto didn't put himself in that category. So it was just his message that resonated with the judges, and that's why he won. And now we know that he's actually a gifted social activist and leader. And because I know him now, I can see you like In-N-Out Burger. I think I remember that actually.
I don't think people can for the people who are at home, because this will be recorded, they don't see the chat.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
No,
Otto is chatting, and he in his bio for the first year that he submitted, he put that he liked In-N-Out Burger. That was his about. So sorry about that. Yeah. So anyway, so we didn't, so I only know that he's a great social activist and leader now. At the time, we just knew that he was talented. He was a talented wordsmith. So once we watched the video and saw him articulate his message, was our expansive moment. That was when we realized, I didn't know what multimodality communicating was. I'd never seen it before. So that was my introduction. So we watched him use the keyboard to share his messages, and it just made me want everybody to know what this is and what this looks like and what it means. And what it means to me is that the rest of the world finally has access to their brilliance. And I was super happy to see him sharing that again. Was it last week when we were at Angie Kim's book event? I think anyway,
I think so.
Angie Kim's book event where Otto was part of the interview. And it was just like all the people that I brought there were just blown away and so impressed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for more people to see this and learn about this. So back to Otto, he won KidsWrite by blind submission for 4 consecutive years. He's the only person to have done that so far. So when he aged out of the contest last year, we knew we had to recognize his achievements and the inspiration he provides to all of us. So we created a new award, the Consistency and Excellence Award, which he received last year. From this year forward, this award will be called the Otto Lana Award. So I just want to share with you my interest in seeing more people from Autism Tree and the autism community. If you're interested in writing, I would love for you to submit to this contest. I would love to hear your words and see what you have to say. We offer a few free classes if you want to check it out. And if you ever want more encouragement or, more ideas on different ways to learn and practice, I'd love for you to reach out to me. I'm happy to support you in any way I can. I've just been so impressed by everything you guys are doing. And I'm so glad I got to know Otto through KidsWrite. So it was an amazing introduction and it's an honor to be here. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Lindsey. It's just warmed my heart and all of our hearts, I know, to have you here and to, I love Otto is just opening, we always say he's opening new doors and he's like an eagle flying over Autism Tree, like leading us to places that we've never been before. And I take that from our executive director, Dana. We say that all the time. And I want to bring to light because Otto is he's on fire in the chat. So I want to bring that forward. I did ask some questions that I want to go back to. So you mentioned that you won a poem writing contest in the 1st grade. And Otto asked, do you still have that poem?
I don't. I wish I did. I feel like it's so much easier for me to save things now. With it's just all in my Google Drive or my Dropbox or like, but no, I don't have anything like that. I mean, I think I have one piece of my art framed from when I was a kid in my garage somewhere, but I don't really, I don't have it. I wish I did.
He mentioned also that poetry contests are important because athletes get accolades early and often and have a team and community early on, but creatives often get isolated. That's a really good point.
I think that is so true. And I was actually at the Author of the Month program last night at the Central Library. And we had a long conversation about the importance of writing groups. So, I mean, like you guys know how being a part of this community has been so beneficial, and it's such a great way to learn and feel like you're part of something. And writing groups are the same. I feel like I couldn't have gotten it where I am without having a community of people to bounce my writing off of. So, yeah, it's so true that community in any aspect that, in anything that you're sort of pursuing, I think the community is one of the most important parts.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for creatives, writers who like, what would be the first steps? Like, where would they look to join a group?
Locally, San Diego Writers Inc. is a great place for writing groups. That's where I've met so many people, so many writers in the community that way. They have free groups. So a lot of writing groups are free at the libraries. So you can, and they also have, book clubs and things, but a lot of the, libraries host writing groups. So I know like La Jolla has one on Thursdays. I'm not sure if it's happening right as we speak, but it's a lot of people are introduced to writing that way. And then also through Writers Inc. You can meet editors and different people that have already published that are offering other classes or other ways to learn more about the process.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Otto also said, said, I agree the visual medium is very impactful. I believe that was in reference to you writing a screenplay and you saw it as a screen, of like something that should be on a screen. I wanted to ask, do you, and you said since then you have some of your works turned into plays. What was something that you learned between that first, you getting that feedback from that one person who said that you have a lot of work to do to get it onto, to be shared with the world? What are some of the things that you learned, and then getting that developed and actually put on a play and everything? How did you get there?
Yeah, well, so I'd written a lot of different short stories about my time in Shanghai, and then I knew I wanted to publish it, somehow, but I wasn't sure if it was, so it was, I'd sort of let go of the idea of creating a screenplay, because I thought it's way easier to, I just wanted to explain it more than just show it. Like there was just more that I wanted to say that I couldn't include in a screenplay. So I had all these stories and then I didn't know what to do with them. And I wasn't sure, should I just publish these as little separate vignettes, or should I somehow lump them together? I mean, a lot of people do that. They publish stories that are sort of like all follow a thread. So you can, you can buy a book that's not all one story, but they're all related in some way. So I thought, maybe I'll do that. I wasn't sure. But actually through Writers Inc., I met Marnie Friedman, who is my my editor. And she introduced the idea of story structure to me. So where to start, beginning, middle, end, the different beats of the story, having a climax, having a lot of ups and downs happening. And so I started practicing that. So kind of plugging the stories that I'd already written into a structure. And then I just decided not to keep it a memoir at all, because it was just there was just a more I wanted to say and less that I wanted to say about being a pregnant woman in Shanghai, because I was pregnant for a lot of the time there. I thought that would be maybe kind of boring. So, so I let that go and I just decided to make it, fiction. And yeah, so and then in my writing group, I just brought it in again and again, what do you think about this chapter? Is this working? I mean, the feedback was so helpful. So that's why I can't imagine writing a book without that. And I'm working on another book now. So it won't be, I'm going to do it in a much more systematic way. So I'm starting with the structure instead of trying to like add the structure later. So it'll be a lot easier. It's a little more streamlined. Maybe hopefully fewer moments of like frustration, but who knows? So yeah, I would say, finding somebody who has experience to pull your ideas together so you can create an outline. And I mean, there are a lot of books that help with that too. So either a person or a book or both, plus a writing group. And then the writing group or San Diego Writers Inc. can lead you to beta readers, who are people that'll read your final story before it goes out into the world to tell you if it's hitting right. Or like with Otto and Angie Kim, there are sensitivity readers that tell you if you're getting if the information you're putting forward is correct, or, is hitting right with that audience. So, so yeah, there's quite a few steps, but I think it's super rewarding. It's a great thing.
Mhm. It's all great advice, good for new people to know. What else did Otto say? I'm reading it. He said, that is also the magic of youth. Children are accepting and not judgmental. I made a PSA that has a baby and said we could learn from them by being accepting of new and different. We should all act like a bunch of babies.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, I think you said that when I was talking about my daughter and how much she liked fish heads, and she liked eating fish heads and duck skin.
Yes.
And I was like, how can you possibly like fish heads and duck skin? That does not sound appealing to me at all. And it was just because, I hadn't really been exposed to it until my adult brain had already been like cemented. I mean, I did learn to like duck skin, I will say. I never really quite picked up on the fish heads, but I mean, in China, they're considered quite nutritious and a delicacy. So, so it's just what you're exposed to and how open you are. And so anyway.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's a theme that what you shared with us of, you living, you're open as a person. You lived in Bali for 2 years. You lived in Shanghai. You worked with a woman who came from Afghanistan. I think that's, good on you for being so open to those different perspectives. And is there anything that, like, I feel like you're pretty global. Is there anything that you've learned from those cultures, or that you want to bring forth in your writing? Or I'm just trying to think of a way how that shaped kind of your experience writing for getting these different perspectives.
Yeah, I think well, I will say, when you start with, when you're coming from the US, I mean, everybody's different, but we do have certain things that really stand out about us that everybody in the world recognizes. I mean, honestly, I've asked a lot, I'm always curious about this. So I've asked people in a lot of different cultures, how can you tell that I'm American? Because they know right away, and I'm like, what, I try to wear like dark socks and black shoes and, not like wear athleisure. How do you know? How can you tell that I'm American? And it's like, just the way that you move in the world. Like, I have a bouncy walk and I'm smiling. And it's like, seriously, that is American? Who would have thought that? I mean, I would never have noticed that, but then I'm like, well, then I'm going to pay attention to that. And I do see it. And it actually makes me appreciate, being American, because I'm like, I mean, I have a great appreciation for being American, but, seeing that like we carry ourselves in just like a little bit more of an upbeat, like springy way. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. I like that, I don't mind being, I mean, like that doesn't bother me at all. So, I actually asked a guy, I was in Croatia last summer, and we went on a, what do you call it? A rafting trip, just like a short rafting trip. And the guide, I don't know, I asked him what he thought about Americans. I don't remember why the conversation went to there, but I did ask him that. And he was really nice. But initially he was a little taken back by my by my question, and he was like, why does, like, he kind of felt like the question was sort of self-centered, like, why do Americans need to know what everybody thinks about them, like sort of that kind of thing. And I was like, well, no, I'm just curious. And then he said, well, I just think you guys are terrible at geography. And I was like, well, that's not wrong. I mean, it's generalization, but that's not terribly wrong. You know, I guess we do have that reputation, but I mean, we're not all that bad. And and then he said, and then he did go on to say, like, everything is like ha ha funny, like, and that, and they're more serious. Like, it was a more serious. They come from, I mean, Croatia is just a more serious culture, right? They've seen a lot, like former Yugoslavia, and a lot of war, very recent. You know, we're lucky. We're so lucky. I think that's the thing that I see more than anything, is how lucky we are to be American, how many more opportunities we have. And it just makes me want to, you know, help people that are less fortunate, because we're lucky just for being born at the longitude and latitude that we were born in, you know, if for no other reason. Because it's a lot harder in other places. So yeah.
It says we're a young country. And we have the confidence of adolescence.
Once again, can't we all be babies?
He also said, I'm so humbled by you and this platform. I'm so happy KidsWrite San Diego exists. Its intersectionality between creativity and the rest of humanity. It breaks boundaries. Plus, you have to write every damn day.
I try not to add stress to the situation. I think it's great if you just write. Ideally, you're writing every day. But if you just start by writing, because a lot of people just start thinking about writing. I mean, a lot of the people that were at this program last night, they were talking about writing. They have all these stories inside, but then they felt so much pressure to do it in certain ways or to do it more often. I thought, you know, first step one is just pen to paper, or, you know, fingers to keyboard. However you're going to write, that's the first step. You don't even know. I mean, how you tell a story. If you like the way that you tell a story, what you need to work on, what, you know. So I just think that's really important. And sometimes I think you might just want to do that for a really long time before you even think about sharing it. But then sharing it is the next step. And so that's, you know, but you got to start with step one.
Takes a lot of bravery.
Yeah.
He says some days will be absolute poop. I'm not gonna he used another word, but I don't want you to take us down. But even NBA players miss shots. They don't quit. Although we were just saying you don't quit. We were talking about that before the lunch and learn. And then he also said, and no matter how much you polish a turd, it will never be a diamond. Don't be afraid to try.
That's right. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So you have to take the shots. You're going to miss for a while. And I think it's good to get comfortable missing, because then it doesn't hurt as bad after a while. And like, honestly, even just getting published, there's so much rejection that is part of that process. You know, and we hear a lot of stories from published authors. I mean, you know, J.K. Rowling, right? I think she submitted to over 60 publishing houses before her books were published, and she's probably the best-selling author of all time. And she's just one example. I think every writer has examples. You have to get comfortable with rejection. And it's not ever easy. It's just sort of knowing that it's part of the process and not taking it as personally.
I'm gonna have to, maybe you can help me out with this comment, Lindsey. He said, I liked it so much, and I'm forgetting what he's referring to, because to me, it represented helping the population who are the throwaways. I was a throwaway before I learned to type. He says, and maybe Shelley, if you want to jump in too. I'm not sure.
Is that why you liked the book, Otto?
That's what he liked about the book.
Okay.
He didn't want to do a spoiler alert, but he felt like the running theme of it was helping people who normally were just throwaways who were ignored. And then he felt like he identified with it because he certainly was a throwaway before he learned how to type.
Well, I love that that is what resonated with you, because that is what resonated with me about writing the story. I just felt like there's so much going on, and we all have to pick something to focus on. And we all have to survive. So sometimes you can only focus on your survival. That's why we're so lucky to be American. And sometimes you still need to focus on other things, but if you can see the whole world for its differences and start to appreciate the differences, I think it's a really great place to exist. Because otherwise I think the world misses out on some, like the people that are, sort of, I guess, less exposed or sort of stuck on, certain ways of being. It's like, gosh, you're missing so much, there's so many other ways to do this. And
But yeah, like in US, we throw fish heads in the trash, but in other parts of the world, they're a delicacy.
yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that you saw that message, because I wouldn't have been able to articulate that, but I'm really glad that shone through for you.
Love it. He always picks up on things that I've never thought before. Tracy asked, do you have an idea when the KidsWrite writing contest for 2024 will open up? Is it typically in January?
Well, okay. So thank you for asking that. In the past, we've had it, we've opened it it will open in December. So short answer is it will open in the next 2 weeks. The submission window is going to be shorter because we're actually announcing the winners at the San Diego Writers Festival, which is April 6th. It's Saturday, April 6th. So, we've had more time. So that means we have to close it by the beginning of March in order to have the time to pick the winners. So, so we've always tried to like kind of leave it open for a while, make sure everybody had a chance to submit. Sometimes teachers don't find out about it until later. So then, the earlier a teacher can find out about it, and then if they want to, they can decide to, assign it to their students. So we've had a few of that. I mean, that happened quite a bit last year with some high school students. So if you guys know of a teacher, make sure you please share KidsWrite with them, because it's really fun to hear from different stories from, whole class of kids. And it's incredible, the different stories that I get to read. The theme last year was The Day You Begin, which was chosen from a Jacqueline Woodson book. And we got some of the best. I mean, it was by far my favorite theme. And we had so many submissions from, like, especially from kids who had moved here from Mexico and hadn't known the language. Actually, not just Mexico, but a lot from Mexico who hadn't known English. And so it was like The Day You Begin, or like maybe they spoke English, but they were very shy, but they brought like certain lunches to school that other kids made fun of them for, because that was what they ate and, where they were from. And so The Day you begin, they interpreted that as like the day they either embraced who they were and didn't try to hide it anymore, or the day that they, stepped into like being more American, I guess. Or, I mean, there's so many different interpretations, but it was super eye-opening to hear all these incredible stories. Yeah.
Lindsey, I'm just curious, how many submissions, you might have said and I missed it. How many submissions do you guys usually get?
Uh, it's been I think we had about 300 last year. I need to look at that number. Actually, I need to turn that into the festival too. But yeah, we had about 300. So we had more high school. So I would say like our graphic story division is smaller. I'm really trying to grow that. Our poetry, the poetry is very popular. The short stories are very popular, especially if they're assigned by a teacher. Then we get a lot of them. But yeah, poetry and short story are the lion's share of that. So I would say probably like 250 short stories and poems. And then we have 3 different age divisions. So we have kindergarten through, is it 5th or 6th grade, primary school, and then a middle school division, and then a high school division. So when we send out all the rules and everything, you can see it all in the submittable. So we have everybody submit through submittable, which is just a website where you can just upload your whatever your piece is, and then give us your details and submit, so we can tell you if you know the results. Those will be announced. Well, I'll announce them before April 6th, just so people will know if they want to come to the festival. We'll have an award ceremony and we'll hand out the prizes. And we usually give small cash prizes and laptops. We work with Computers to San Diego Kids to the winners. We'll do the laptops that are come in from Computers to San Diego Kids. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Great resource for the kids. Okay, so I also want to give a shout out to Tracy. She actually put the San Diego Writers Festival.com/KidsWrite link. So I'll include that in the recap email. I'm assuming that's the KidsWrite.
Yes, that's where we'll announce the winners. That's also where you'll find any submission requirements. Yeah, all the KidsWrite, that's where everything is housed, all the information.
Awesome. She said it also shows all the winners. So congrats to Otto. It is the coolest thing that he has an award named after him. The Otto.
Love it, Otto.
Yep.
He said they're also on Instagram. Thank you, Otto.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we have Instagram, so I do announcements there as well. So it's KidsWrite _San_Diego. And yeah, we'll announce the theme, the opening, sort of send out reminders when the contest closes and when the award ceremony will be happening. I try to communicate it in as many ways as possible, but that is a good one too.
Awesome.
Yeah, Otto said, if you write movies, you can win an Oscar. If you write plays, you can win a Tony. If you write poems in San Diego, you can win an Otto.
I love that.
I love it. You know?
That's fantastic.
It's next level. I love it. Awesome. Tracy said she's going to encourage her 12-year-old son to enter.
Oh, great. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really worthwhile.
Jeff also said, great job, Lindsey. And his
Thank
dad
you.
would frequently travel to Shanghai for business back in the day. Have you been there since you lived there?
So I went back with my daughter. We went on her, it was her 5th grade graduation trip. So my kids went to a Mandarin immersion elementary school, and we would do fundraising their last year and get everybody from that graduating class to go on a trip to China. Our trip did not go to Shanghai. We went to Beijing. China is so big. So we went for 10 days, I think. Actually, yeah, about 10 days. So we went to Beijing. We went to Qingdao. No, not Qingdao. Oh my gosh. The western side of China where the pandas are. I'm forgetting. In Sichuan. Anyway. And then we went to where the oh my gosh, I am totally spacing where the warriors are.
We're so bad at geography.
I know. I'm 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 showing that right now.
I don't know either.
Chengdu is where the pandas are, and Xi'an is where the warriors are. Thank you. Took me 1 second.
You got it.
Yeah, so that was a great trip, but I didn't get back to Shanghai. But honestly, I had so much fun getting back there. It had been so long. It changes so quickly. And my husband goes all the time for work. He's actually going to go in December and again in January. And he said it is unbelievable how much it has changed. So they, like, for an example, before COVID, so they were closed, obviously. We watched sort of what a mess they were during COVID. I mean, none of the world was great, but they had some issues. So they don't take currency anymore. They don't take like dollar bills. So everything is paid for. It's like Apple Pay, but it's the Chinese version of Apple Pay. You have to have a Chinese bank account in order to have it. So they've just gone all electronic with their payments, which is amazing. And over 50% of the cars are electric. And that has been just since COVID.
Wow.
I mean, that
Wow.
they change on a dime. It is unbelievable. So like pretty soon, once they do like fully embrace climate change and like sustainable energy, I mean, they'll lead the world in it. It'll be amazing. So I love watching what they're doing.
Very cool. Yeah, I hope to see more of that in the US.
Me too.
Otto, we have only a few minutes left, so I'm so sad Tracy had to leave. I definitely want to do a group picture before everyone leaves. But Otto, I missed one of his comments and I love it so much, so I just wanted to read it. The best art and writing allows you to find a personal connection. Absolutely, Otto.
Yes.
And he also said, thank you for taking the time to meet with us. I'm always trying to get people to read books and write anything. People with speech-related disabilities are not usually encouraged to do this either. It's so healing.
I agree. I mean, you're paving the way, Otto. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, let's take a group picture before we all have to go. I love it. Well, just smile at the camera, everyone. Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Oh, that was perfect. I love it.
Otto, will you and your mom stay on for just like 1 minute or 2 minutes after? Just stay on. Well, we'll say bye to everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you
again,
so much
Lindsey.
for having me. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Rebecca, and everyone that is here. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure and honor to be here today.
It was so much fun. Have a great
Yeah.
week, everyone.
Take care, guys.
Hope to see you at Winter Wonderland.
Yes.
Bye, Jeff.
You'll text me the information, right?
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
text you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Let me stop recording. Bye, Adela. Bye, Viviana. Thanks, ladies.